Hey honey, I'm home. Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm Leo and thank you for joining me here today. Sorry I've been posting a lot as lately. Mental health's been playing up a lot, but I won't go into all that detail. I have been taking pictures and I have been doing a lot back of the scene, ready for the winter for more creative ideas. But if you remember in the last video I did, I got a splash art 2 kit and I thought I'd give it a try. And believe me, I found it very interesting. I know I made my own and I'll put the link up for that if you ain't seen that one. But I wanted to see, because I've always thought it's pressing a button and you get the splash and it's all over and done with. But there is really a lot more to it than what you think. It has absolutely drove me up the wall to get it right. But my good friend Darren has talked me through it so much, it's unreal. He's even telling me things that you wouldn't even think of, and things that people don't hear on the videos as well. And he made it so simple that I believe you can do it too if you've got one. Okay, then let's talk a bit more now about the actual setup, because it's important. It doesn't really matter, like I says, what I'm using, if you're a splash art, a Pluto trigger or the myop system. They really work the same, just that some work off an app on your mobile phone and some just work like with the trigger, like I'm going to show you. The main thing is getting the setup right. First of all, I've got 2 cat litter trays. This one here is $1.99 from B&M Home Stores, and this one was £1 from B&M Home Stores. And what I'm done is I've got 2 that the grey one is slightly bigger than the black one. What this is for is because I've got some wood in the bottom here. And what I do is just put the wood on top, put the black one on top of the wood. And what this does is acts as a reservoir. So when this is filled up with fluid and I've got to fill it straight to the brim, it means that once the droplets start coming off, when it starts overflowing, all it's going to do is catch in the bottom one. And that way then, I should, all being well, get away with less mess than what I normally do. Because if anybody's ever seen me do anything like this, trust me, I can get into a right mess. So that is just the reservoir what we're going to use. So let's talk a bit more about the splash art kit, only quickly, because like I said, them all the same. This is what a splash art kit looks like. It comes with a stand and clamps, ideal and really sturdy, to be fair, well made. Then we got the arm, and all the arm does is sits, as it says, on the clamp like that. That's it. That just keeps it stable, shall I say. The next thing what we're looking for is the reservoir. This is actually the main thing, the reservoir. And what it is, it comes with a solenoid. And this is what does the main work for it. So what we do is we're going to put the fluid in there, and then we're just going to drop that in there, tighten it up. And what we do is level it all up as best as you can, because that does also make a difference. If it ain't level, your water drops tend to fly off everywhere and get different handles. Come on. There you go, I got it. There we go. Hold on, mate. Nice and tight like that. And like I say, what's going to happen here is this is going to sit underneath it. So what I'm going to do is I'll end up moving the arm until I get to the very middle of the tray, because that way then we're going to get the better droplets underneath. But the main thing is is it works off a trigger release. Because, as I said, this one comes with a box that controls the droplets, different droplets. And I will tell you a bit more about the controlling the droplets shortly, but I'm just going to show you quickly how to set it up. All it does is there's a trigger release. I was going to say quicker release, but it goes on there. And that also goes straight into the box, meaning that we can fire it off now just by the press of the button and the camera will fire off. So that really is just the Splash R2 kit done. This is 750D. You don't really need a big a macro lens on it. You can use a kit lens. My friend Darren's even used a 50 to 500mm lens and still got fantastic pictures. But what we will need is we're going to need some trigger remotes. We're going to need these. What this does is just sends a signal to the flash to tell the flash that, you know, it's got a fire, and it just fires off. Now, quickly, these are gels, and all they are, I bought these ones off Amazon, and they ain't the dearest ones. I think there was £12, I think there was. Made by Selons or something like that. Well, I'll put a link up for these anyway, but they are good quality things. I do like them. They come with bands, and why I never thought of this myself, I don't know. I could have put air bubble, I got no air. We could put a bubble around it, and we can, you know, use it exactly the same things. So what I'm going to do is just drop that behind the bands, and that's all the bands are for, to hold the gels on. Simple as. Done. And that's how they fit like. Simple, snug as a bug, and the job's done. Now what you're going to say is, Lee's got 2 flashes, so how about if we got 2 flashes? Well, simple as. If you can see what I've done with this one, I've actually mixed the 2 together, 2 colours, and it's going to give me a nice colour. But usually we put on one either side. If you haven't got 2 flashes, we don't need to worry about that. Because if you remember, these reflective cards use small water droplets. If you put them together, opposite each other, light's going to come off, go around it, and it's going to give you the same patterns. Might give you some different colours, and well, we don't know, it depends what colours you want, but trust me, it works, because I've been using it. If you haven't got no gels, and you want to make some of your own, these are ring binders, and them transparent ring binders. And I've got these from Poundland, so you really could cut some out and make your own, not a problem. But the main thing is, we're going to talk about is the liquid, the fluid that we put into the tank and the fluid that we put into the actual reservoir, because this is what makes a difference. Some people use milk, I don't use milk, I just use plain water, my gels. Meaning that the solenoid inside there, when it opens it opens and shuts. But if you start putting fluids in there and you don't clean it out properly, it will damage inside. That's why Darren always told me to use gels, and it works for me. But like I say, now I'm going to show you how to mix the solution up quick and what way I do it, and then we're going to get on to some shots. So like I said, I'm going to show you how now I mix this. This is just the fluid that's going to go in the reservoir. All this is Mr. P's Rapid Xanthan gum. And this is what I'm going to put in the dropper. I'm not going to put it in the reservoir. All I put in the reservoir is plain, everyday, old drinking water straight out the tap. Don't use nothing else. Don't put no milk in it or nothing else. So this is what I'm going to mix up. Now this xanthan gum is really, really hard to get right. What else I do is use virtually half a teaspoonful to all this. But a top tip is when you're doing it, mixing it, is to stop getting lumps in it, start making a bit of a vortex in the middle while you put it in. So once you get a nice vortex, just sprinkle it in. And then rapidly mix it. And then what you got to do is you got to mix it up for a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, but keep mixing it, because if you don't keep mixing it well, what happens is you get all little globs in. What this is actually going to do is thicken the water up, and the contents you want it like, it's just a tiny little bit thicker than milk. So what I do is, this is 2 pints of water to half a teaspoon of the xanthan gum. Like I said, you don't really need a lot. And as you're mixing it round, you'll see it getting thicker. Then once you see it dissolve, put it on the side, and you can leave it then for say, I leave that probably for about 4 to 5 hours to make sure that all the crystals have all got, you know, diluted and everything else. Once it's all diluted, then all you've got to do is take it out, get yourself a nice tea strainer or a flour sieve, then get it and then just tip it through the flour sieve, and then takes any more little bumps or mess or any clogs that sticks in there. This is a blue Peter one, and this is one I've already done. I did this yesterday, so I know there's enough there for me, like I say, to get started today. But like I said, that's just Mr. P's Rapid Xanthan Gum, and I'll put a link up from that on Amazon because it is brilliant stuff. But like I say, if you find that your Xanthan Gum is too thick, add a bit of water, mix, leave it again for a bit, but keep doing it down, because the concentrate you want, the type of liquid you want, it's just got to be like milk. So my contraption's all set up now. As you can see, I've got the water right to the very brim, and that's how we need it, like that. Now, as I've actually focused, so the back of my picture ends where the water ends and the starts here. So that water is actually my canvas. I've got the 2 flashes set up to start off with, like I said, I've just left the colours on and away we go. But what we're going to do now is we're going to set up. Now, I know you've seen in other pictures where they press the water droplet and they put the pen in and then they focus on the pen. But my good friend Darren told me something very interesting about this, and I found it right what he was saying. I did do what everybody else does, and where the droplet comes in, I put the pen in and focused on it perfect. And yeah, it worked, but it didn't seem to be very sharp. So what he told me to do was, where the droplet actually dropped, is to come just forward about the width of a pen. So I found this works a lot better. So what I'll do is just put it on there, then I'm going to aim down, autofocus. When it's right, take it out, put it on manual focus, it ain't going to move again then. As you can see, I'm using a kit lens, like I said, there's no need to use big lenses. So, okay, that's all set up. My settings are going to be 1/200th of a power, which is a sync to these 2 flashes. Then I'm at f20 or f22 I might move up to, with ISO of 400. And this should make and capture the pictures what I want. Why I'm using ISO 400? Well, I don't want to put too much, and I don't want too much black in my pictures. So hiding the ISO up a little bit more will give me the textures I want in the water. Now, when you've seen me do all these textures in the water, I've actually been using this. This is actually a disinfectant, Dettol disinfectant. And when you add a couple of drops into here, it turns the water nice and white. Now, I didn't know this. This was another tip off my good friend Darren Littlehales, which I will leave the link to his Facebook page and everything else. And this also breaks the water surface tension, which helps the splash go deeper. Because what happens is it comes down, when it goes under the water, it pops back up, and the second one should hit it at the same time and come over. But I guarantee you, this will make a difference. This is how you've seen my smoky pictures when I've been doing. I've done the smoky picture the other day, and somebody asked me, how did I get the smoky picture? It was simple. It was just Dettol, and it absolutely works a lot better. Like I said, don't use no food colorants, the gel, and that is all we're going to do. Setting it up is hard than what you think. Now, you're going to struggle for a bit to get it. So what you've got to do is then mess around with your flash settings. I'm going to knock mine down now. If you didn't have the water, if you didn't have the Dettol in and it was pure black, you'd be something like, I don't know, probably 1/4 for the power. But because the white's in there now, it allows me to drop my flash settings right the way down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off at 1/32 of the power. That's all I'm going to use on both flashes. Now, like I says, if you haven't got 2 flashes, just use a piece of card, an infected card, and you're going to get the same. What we want is to aim these directly at the water, like I says, and then we're just going to simply press it down and see what we get. Now, on these buttons, the top one controls the first drop, the second one, a gap in between, and this third one on top of here is a second droplet. And the last one, the fourth one, is probably the most important one I've in, because this is the one that fires the flash off for you to get the shots. But believe me when I say you're gonna do shot after shot after shot to get the first right. You are, trust me. And there's no easy way around this. And just tiny little movements on the dial makes it work brilliant. So it's all trial and error. But this Dettol will make the pictures look so different. It's unreal. Then it's just the case of taking shots, looking, now that one there come up, but it wasn't quite right because I got the coming down and I got the one coming up and the one coming down, so it was a little bit too, the timing was just out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move the droplet in between the middle one now to see what happens. Now I've got that one sort of right, but I'm not still happy with it, but the textures in that water look absolutely fantastic. You can't tell me they don't. Nope, still not right. Bit more. And all I'm doing each time is just moving the dial just a fraction, just a tiny bit. And there's my first one. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make that one a bit bigger, pull that one a bit down. Then all the case is now is watching the picture. Now the reservoir itself, yeah, as it goes down, will definitely alter your drop patterns. So you might have to keep your eye on it and keep it topped up, or keep it to a level that you know, because every time you're going to fire one off, you know, it's going to change it down. So gravity works different. Like I say, there's a lot of gravity pushing through there at the minute because it's full, but less gravity means it's going to change it all. But what you got to do is don't be scared to keep trying it. What I'm quickly going to do now is I'm taking that off there. I'm going to drop that on there like I told you to, just so you know I ain't lying. And that's nice. That's really purpley, really purpley. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to wire that flash up a little bit more to compensate. Gone to 1A for the power now. I've not touched none more of my settings, and all I'm going to do is, like I say, is I'm going to bend the card. That's better. That's a lot lighter and not noisier. That's not dreamier, should I say. Now what I'm going to do is I'm taking that one away. And I'll try this one now, the one with the green on or whatever. Right, I've got to turn the power back up on this one because I turned it down. Back straight up. What was that one on? 1A for the power. Does that seem to work well? That's it. And just press and keep pressing. That one didn't fire then. There you go. Whoa, that looks really space agey, really good. Now as I'm pressing this now, I'm noticing I'm getting a few misfires and a misses. You will get this. If you're worried about your shutter count on your camera, I don't think you should do this because you can pile 500 and 600 shots off while playing at the type of this. But all I keep doing now is altering, just slightly altering the droplet sizes to get the pictures. And believe me, it's a right addiction, this is. I hope you've all enjoyed that. Like I said, it is addictive, trust me, when you get into it. It really is worthwhile, and I'm going to keep practicing at it through the dark nights. I have got some more ideas, like I said, so get ready and look out for those. I might do one or two more macro out and about adventures, because autumn's coming, but we never know, we'll get there. I really am sorry for not posting, like I said before, and I'd like to say a massive thank you to my good friend Darren. I know I've said his name dozens of times, but believe me, he has been a massive help to me over the last few weeks, and he really has helped me out such a lot. So has Andy for bringing me the Splash Art kit over to try, so I can't thank him enough neither. I hope you've enjoyed it, like I said. And if you've got any questions, please, please, please don't be afraid to ask. I'm only human, I'm only normal, and I will answer you back, I promise you. I've just started a new job, so I should have more weekend free, meaning I should be able to do more videos. But like I said, the videos is easy. The actual editing the videos is what the hard part is. So I will get round, and I promise you I will put some out there. But please, all of you, look after yourself. Please stay safe. And if you see me about, remember, come up, have a chat with me. And until next time, stay safe and happy snapping.